All right there. Welcome, everyone. My name is Shaquille Naji. I'll be presenting to you on behalf of Resort HQ and Fortune Foster Investment Management. This will be a brief presentation on the cost of owning a cottage in one of our beautiful resorts. Once again, please hold your questions to the end. Make sure your mics are all muted. I will give a chance for you to chime in with your comments and questions. For those of you who were able to attend our October 4th event, this will be a bit more detail on sort of the cost of ownership portion of the presentation. For those of you who weren't, welcome. We highly recommend you take the chance to come see one of our showrooms in Caledon, see these units for yourself. But without further ado, let me get started on presenting to you what we're offering to you today. All right, so who are we? We have 8 destination resorts across Southern Ontario, and we're acquiring more each day. Resort HQ currently has 804 sites, and they're all over the place. We've got some in Jordan Valley, which is a Niagara region resort, beautiful scenic near vineyards. We've got Crow Valley, which is scenic in Marmora, Ontario, along the riverside. And we've got some suburban locations closer to Ancaster Springs, which is a short hop away from Hamilton. Likewise, we have resorts in Caledon, a short hop away from Brampton. And we also have more traditional cottage offerings, traditional Muskoka region, such as Gullwing Lake and South Muskoka. So right now we're located all over Southern Ontario, and we're buying new properties each month. The options are going to increase going forward. So what we're offering today are tiny cottages and park model RVs. So these are recreational properties that are now, in a modern sense, equivalent in finish to a typical condo. You get amenities, you get dishwashers, you get condo quality finish, 500 to 600 plus square footage. These really are new modern condo style amenities. When we put down the pad for you and build one of these cottages, you can have decks, you can have skirting, you can put up a barbecue patio furniture, you can have your own garden. It really is customizable depending on what sort of package you want to get. And the finish of these, it's condo quality. You have lots of spacious living room. This is one of our park models. A full modern finished kitchen with all your amenities, fridge, oven, stove, microwave, dishwasher, plenty of space to operate in the kitchen. The bedrooms are customizable. This one here I'm showing for you is configured for bunk beds for, if you have young children, that might be suitable for them. It can also be customized to have a single bedroom or some other type of space. The bathrooms, again, great modern finish, plenty of space, his and hers bathroom. Again, these are really high quality units and really comparable to what you'd be looking for if you were to get a condo in a major city these days. The square footage is comparable, the finish is probably even better, and the master bedroom. So how does it work when you purchase one of our resort cottages? We offer unique short and medium term stays. So these are recreational properties, so they can't be your permanent residence. But our resorts operate between 7 and 11 and a half months. So when you purchase or lease a tiny cottage or park model RV for us, depending on whether you get waterfront or inland, the price varies a little bit. But you get a land lease for 10 years where your annual rental charge is capped at an increase of 3%. So you're guaranteed your RV on that spot for a full 10 years. You have the option of Airbnb-ing your tiny cottage or park model RV with us. We take a nominal fee, but it is your property to Airbnb as you like, have friends stay in there. It's up to you, and you get to choose your resort. And all our resorts offer a variety of amenities depending on location. Some have pools, some have playgrounds, some have docks and boating. Most of them have a general store. Usually these are pretty high quality resorts that offer a lot to do in the summers, in the winters, for you, for your families. They're beautiful, beautiful places. You really need to see them to understand. So right now, the cost of housing is kind of outrageous in Ontario and in Canada in general, right? According to Ipsos, 63% of Canadians have given up on ever owning a home. Rents in Canada are up 11% in the last year. The average price in Brampton, Mississauga, and Caledon is up 136% from 10 years ago. And this problem is getting worse, right? Construction costs for conventional housing are still ballooning. The province keeps falling short of its housing targets. The problem just keeps getting worse and worse, especially since you're seeing new condo developments going under before completion. Recent example is One Bloor Place in Toronto. It was the project is stalled because development can't finish. So this housing problem is just getting worse, and the cost of housing just keeps going up and up. So with housing so unattainable for so many people, cottaging is even more unattainable. And what we offer at Resort HQ and Forge and Foster is the ability to do that on an affordable basis. So I'm going to be going into some comparison examples, but just as a point of comparison, here's your typical house in Brampton, currently listed, 3 bedrooms, you get a driveway, but that goes for about 1.3 million in Brampton right now. Similarly, a new 2-bedroom condo goes for 731,000 in Brampton. And cottages are even more outrageously expensive, right? This one's located in Kawartha Lakes, and not too far from our Crow Valley location, and it's 2.6 million just to buy it. Meanwhile, our resort cottages we offer start from 200,000, and they can be placed anywhere in Ontario at one of our resorts. And the reason they're so cheap is basically we get them manufactured offsite in a factory. It's basically what Henry Ford discovered 100 years ago when he revolutionized the auto industry. Building in a factory on a production line is a great way to keep construction costs low. We haven't seen the same increases in construction costs for our park model RVs or manufactured housing units in the same way that the conventional construction industry has seen costs explode. So while the problem is getting much worse for conventional housing and conventional cottages, our units remain affordable and are likely to do so for the foreseeable future. So the headline is, you can own your cottage for $40 per day in terms of your running costs. So let me run you through an example. You purchase one of our park model resort cottages for $200,000. You can finance that purchase with a $60,000 loan at roughly 7.8% interest only with one of our broker partners. So that brings your annual mortgage payment to $4,700. Now your annual operating cost for the unit can be as low as $10,000. At one of our cheaper sites, you can get a site for $7,500, and then that gives you a little buffer room for maintenance. Things break down. So overall, you're on an annual basis, you're paying $10,000 to just run your cottage unit, your resort cottage, and your total cost, including your mortgage, is $14,700. That brings you to a cost per day of $40.28. Outrageously cheap compared to the alternatives. Now, if you do have the money to pay fully down, then you can scrap those mortgage costs. Your annual cost is $10,000, and that brings your cost per day to $27.40. Now, when you get one of our resort cottages, you have the option of Airbnb. Cottages at Gullwing Lake in Muskoka are in high demand. As an example, one of our cottages that is typically rented on $170 per night on weekdays and $250 per night on weekends, one single resort RV cottage generated $11,500 income this year. So and that's directly to the owner of the property. That's after the fees we take for Airbnb your unit. So basically covers the cost of owning an RV cottage. And you get the benefit of on days when it's not booked, you have a place to stay. On the less busy time in the season, you stay, enjoy your cottage, enjoy the amenities, the scenic views, enjoy nature, enjoy the space around you without being crowded in the city. And then on the busy weekends, book it up, recoup your cost of ownership. And units are so affordable that, a typical Canadian family can afford it much more than they can at another property. Take the example of a couple earning the gross median household income in Canada, $74,000. It's not unreasonable to be able to put 40 to 50% of your housing costs, of your income towards housing costs. So if you save 50% of that gross median household income, you can pay off the 200,000 park model resort cottage in 5.5 years. Cottaging has never been so affordable. So for those of you who really like to get into the numbers of these things, I'm just going to run you through the 10-year cost of ownership and compare it to owning the cottage example we saw in Kawartha, or the condo we saw, or the house in Brampton, or renting a condo, 2-bedroom condo in Brampton for $2,650 a month. So basically, given today's interest rates and your typical down payment on each of these types of properties, you can own a resort cottage for 1/10 the cost of a typical cottage in the Kawartha region. If you buy it outright, it's even cheaper, right? You're saving on the mortgage cost. You're paying 70% of what you would otherwise, $27 a day. Meanwhile, so that's on the recreational side, right? These are recreational properties as a point of comparison. But because you can stay in these 11.5 months, they really are an option for bringing down your overall housing costs. You keep your permanent address, that of a relative, stay there 3 weeks a year, and then spend the rest of it in one of our cottages. So compared to that, renting a 2-bedroom condo in Brampton will cost you about $87 a day. That's twice what it costs to own a manufactured home that's with a sticker price of $240,000. That's over twice what you'd pay for a resort cottage if you take out a $60,000 mortgage. It's more than that compared to if you're able to pay the down payment outright. And really, the down payment you'd be paying, that's less for the resort cottage than you pay for a typical down payment on a cottage, for a typical down payment on a condo, for a typical down payment on a house. It really is the most affordable option on an annual basis, on a down payment basis, and over the lifetime of your investment in this property. If you want to include the principal and just really go into the weeds on this, let's say you buy one of our cottages and you're paying down 20% of the principal a year. On that basis, between your mortgage and the principal of the mortgage, compared to your typical 25-year amortizing loans on cottages, condos, and houses, your cost per day, including paying off the principal it'd take you 5 years paying off 20% of your loan. Your cost per day in the first year goes down to is $73. That's a sixth of what it is for a cottage, where you're only paying 1.5% of your principal on your mortgage in the first year. Now, over 10 years, that ratio gets even better because you're able to pay off one of these resort cottages so quickly. Over 10 years, your cost per day, including the principal, drops to $48. So these are really affordable options that, who can afford a $2.6 million cottage in today's interest rate environment with today's maintenance costs? It's not easy. Whereas for your typical person earning an ordinary salary, ordinary wages, dual income, single income, whatever, it's really much more attainable, one of these resort cottages. So we hope you'll inquire further. We have a sales team who's ready to help you secure financing, ready to help you find your preferred location, and we hope you'll contact us in the future. All right, thank you, everyone. All right, does anyone have any questions? Okay, I'm scrolling down through the questions. I'll try and answer them one by one. Yes, the presentation will be shared by email. Once we've recorded it, we'll send out a YouTube link. Everyone will have access to that. So for those of you who didn't get good audio quality for whatever reason, apologies, but you'll get to see it. I have a question about 11.5 months. This is guaranteed occupancy. Utilities are, resorts have the infrastructure to function during winter, even during very cold days. So if the season is 11 and a half months, that is when you'll be able to occupy it. I've got a question about typical cost of utilities. So ordinarily, I can't give you precise figures on utilities. I'm sure one of our sales team and marketing team will be able to if you call. But really, these units are top of the line, build quality. They have 40 to 50 year warranties on the roofs. They have full zip insulation. So your utility costs will typically be less than a comparable condo or a comparable rental property. There are plenty of other models available. You can get deluxe models for up to 250,000. You can browse our showroom or our website to find them, or just get in touch with someone in our marketing team, and we'd be happy to run you through the options. Options for adding an extra bathroom. Yeah, these units are very customizable. So, contact someone in our marketing team. I'm sure we can work with it. We build deck skirting, we build decks, we build customize the rooms in the cottages. So it's definitely possible that putting in a second bathroom is an option. Okay, we'll be sharing the website link in the chat. So the term of the occupancy is guaranteed throughout the land lease term. You're guaranteed that pad of land for 10 years, should you choose to renew each year. And the rent you pay is the potential increase is capped at a maximum of 3%, typically less. So your cost on the land lease remains low. The activities available in winter depend on the resort specifically. In Caledon Hills, I would need to refer you to a specific resort, but it's lots of ours offer winter camping sites, glamping domes you can visit. Okay, so I have a question about the reason you need a permanent address. Yes, this is government restriction, zoning laws. These properties are zoned as recreational properties, so it can't be your full-time, with few exceptions. We have a few sites on a few properties that are zoned for full-time residents, but you would need a different address to own one of these resort properties. Yeah, our resorts use rental services besides Airbnb and do their own rentals. Um, I have a question about, is there any way to own the land you're on? That's on a case-by-case basis. We need to discuss specifically with the resort, and would depend on the specifics of the resort's zoning, but it's certainly a possibility long term. I will put a link to the chat, to the website in the chat, so you can look more into the specific locations, see which ones have 11.5 months stay, see which ones have 7. But that information will be made available to all of you. Okay, I'm seeing the questions slow down a bit. Okay, getting more questions about owning the land. We can have someone provide more information on where owning land is possible. Right now, it isn't something we typically offer, but we can connect you with the right person if should you call someone on our marketing team to determine whether you can own the land. I've got a question about the land lease payment, if they're paid monthly or twice a year. Typically, at all our properties, they're paid twice a year. Once as a deposit prior to the start of the season, and then the remaining amount at the beginning of the season. We don't currently offer in-house financing, but we are able to connect you with brokers who will offer it. Sorry, everyone, we had some technical difficulties. Can you hear me? Am I back? Hello? Okay, I'm getting the thumbs up from my colleague off screen that I'm back. Okay. So I'm getting a question about the term of the land lease. Yeah, so the term of the occupancy is specified for any given site. So when you sign the land lease, the term of the season will be written into it. So you're guaranteed to have availability for that many months at a given site. Yeah, cottage owners can refit their home however they like. These are your properties. You can put solar, you can do your own insulation, you can build your own deck so long as it's on your own pad. These are your properties. You get to do what you want with them. Okay, what happens when you want to sell? That's a great question. So right now, at most of our locations, we are willing to buy old units back. The precise cost depends on the location, the quality of the unit, but used park model RVs are typically going as on a sale price of around $170,000. So that's the full cost of sale. A portion of that will be collected in fees by us, but these are resellable units. They're in high demand. They're in good quality. Their roofs are they don't lose a ton of value over time. So you sign your 10-year land lease. At the end of it, you have the option of moving your unit, or you can sell it back to us. Obviously, we can't make any guarantee on resale, but right now we do buy back units and we do resell them. I'm seeing someone in here. Typically, one of our $200,000 units on resale is going for 170,000. Okay, I'm seeing the questions start to trickle down, so I'll give it another minute for any more, and then thank you everyone for attending this presentation. Alex, would you be able to put a link to the website in the chat? My colleague Alex will be putting a link to the website in the chat. Just keep an eye out for it. That can connect you to someone on our marketing team. They'll be happy to go through specific resorts with you, figure out how we can best tailor one of these units to your needs. Oh, I'm getting another question about land lease payments. They're typically paid twice a year. Once prior to the beginning of the season is a deposit to confirm your reservation for the following year, once at the beginning of the season. We do resell units. I'm seeing some people didn't hear my prior answer, but we can't guarantee we'll buy your unit, but right now that is something we do offer. Typically, used units will resell for about 70,000. Varies depending on the age and the condition of the unit. To the website, that'll get you any information on the specifics of individual sites and put you in contact with someone on our marketing team. Thank you everyone for attending this presentation. We really hope you make your way out to one of our showrooms in Caledon, or we're setting one up in Hamilton shortly. So you can see yourself. So you can see the build quality. Cottaging has never been more affordable, and it's a really great way to keep your overall cost of living down. Thank you, everyone.